Yo, what's going on, guys? You got Glop, and we are here for a new series on the channel. Gonna be doing some live battle coverage of the Smogon National Dex Ubers draft. So I ended up taking over for a team. It was in kind of a rough state, but you know, I said I'm an Ubers expert. I've been around these parts before. I know how to navigate these kind of things. So I decided to take over the team, made some changes to it with some transactions after the draft, and this is the beautiful little roster that we ended up with. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. So I've already gone ahead and played the battle. I'm going to show you guys basically me playing a game live, which is something I've really never done on my channel, so I'm pretty excited about this project. This section, of course, is going to be the team builder. So if you are not interested in the team builder, down in the description, you will see that timestamp for the live battle. Otherwise, welcome. Let's delve into the mind of the Ubers player. So we're going up against Lizardo. Don't know anything about this player. Have never heard of them before. But of course, you never want to take anybody for granted. That's one of the easiest ways to get your ass knocked out of a tour, right? So the matchup here is, honestly, I think it's pretty good for us. I would say that the biggest threats we need to be watching out for are going to be the Zekrom. Dragon Dance Scale Shot is a very devastating set into us. Right, we've got the Quagsire there, but of course Terravolt is going to allow that to ignore it and just kind of break through. So that's something I'm kind of mindful of. Arceus Psychic, not really going to be a problem. We've got our own Arceus, we've got Giratina, we've got Yveltal. Not super worried about that guy. Pheromosa is kind of a problem Pokemon for us. We have to, contend with that with our Arceus-Fire. It also does really well into four of our Ubers, realistically. As well as our Mega Diancie. So Primarina has a really good matchup. I'm expecting that to come to the game. And then, other than that, I mean, Pheromosa can be a little bit problematic, right? But we've got Giratina, which can easily keep it in check with things like Shadow Sneak and everything. So this is our matchup at a glance. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the team builder, kind of walk you guys through my thought process of each of the Mons. And then, of course, you'll also be able to see that visual on the screen. So let's go ahead and switch over to that now. And this is what we ended up with. So first Pokemon on the team, we've got the Choice Scarf Yveltal. So I really wanted this as good insurance versus the Zekrom. As I mentioned, it's easily the biggest threat into our team. Dark Pulse Oblivion Ring, pretty standard obligatory stabs. And then, of course, we have Foul Play to capitalize on the attack boost from the Dragon Dance. This thing also lets us keep Spectrier in check if that does decide to come, right? Can help us revenge, autotomize Celesteela if that makes a fringe appearance. And realistically, Diancie long-term does get whittled down by this, right? So a no-bulk Diancie is going to be taking about 33 if it's already Mega Evolved from Dark Pulse. So it's a pretty easy 3-hit KO to achieve. So U-turn is just nice to basically, force out Pokemon that are low HP, get momentum, that kind of thing. Felt like it'd be a pretty straightforward set. The morning of the battle here, I was wondering if I should maybe become a Sucker Punch set instead. Could have been better. But I ended up going with this just because this was my gut, and it's usually good to trust your gut. So next member we've got here is the Arceus-Fire, and initially I was a Dragon Dance set, but I decided to shift to Calm Mind because I noticed that my team kind of struggled to break through a defensive Boots Yveltal. So I needed a Pokemon that was going to be able to sit on that and pressure it 1v1 without risking really dying. I don't anticipate a defensive Yveltal to have Toxic, so I figured that this set could be very effective because Dragon Dance would be vulnerable to a Foul Play set, whereas this can just continuously Calm Mind in front of basically any defensive Yveltal and then threaten with Judgments, right? So the main obstacle for this Pokemon, of course, is going to be the Primarina. And in my head, right, I've got a lot of things that pressure Primarina. I've got the Yveltal, I've got Stealth Rock that can go up, I've got a Slowking to fall back on. So Primarina is annoying, and it does harass a lot of my team. But also, it wants to be switched, it's tasked with a lot. It wants to switch into a lot of my team, and so it feels very difficult for it to achieve everything it wants to. So a set like this can certainly run away with the game if we get enough information and we position ourselves accordingly. So right now we're running speed for modest max speed Spectrier. I also do think that this will get the jump on the opponent's Arceus, because realistically they're probably going to be just creeping our Mega Diancie. Now, it's either they're going to be creeping our Mega Diancie or they're going to go max speed. I feel like there's going to be no in between. So if he wants to be faster than us, you got it, boss. But otherwise, we probably will have the speed advantage. EV's here. The bulk just helps us better take attacks from the Yveltal, but mainly the special attack is here because at +1 we can knock out Mega Diancie from full with Earth Power if it's already Mega Evolved. Assuming it's not max HP, of course. Max HP is a roll, but if we have rocks up, then that's fine. He would have to stay in regular form, basically, to live that hit. And then, of course, we have Judgment as our obligatory stab. Next up, we've got the Mega Diancie, and this thing is really just meant to be the pivot for his Yveltal, but can also take like a +1 Bolt Strike from Zekrom if it's not a boosting item like a Life Orb or a Magnet. So pretty useful Pokemon all around. Encore is really nice to punish a Calm Mind Ursaluna. It also pressures Arceus forms that are trying to use like Cosmic Power Cheese, right? Moonblast Mystical Fire pretty much hits everything neutrally on his team. It doesn't hit the Iron Moth, but I'm not worried about that Pokemon at all. I've got a Slowking, I've got an Arceus-Fire, I've got a Giratina. That Pokemon is never going to do anything into us, so I'm not worried about it at all. Stealth Rock was really the main objective here. Originally, I did have spikes on this Pokemon, but I was wondering if he would maybe spec his Diancie to be the switch into our own. And so I figured that like it doesn't make sense long-term to try to be getting up spikes when they could just be coming back onto my side of the field. So I figured let's just settle with rocks. And that should help us achieve some of the KOs that we want to be hitting. So we're max speed to speed tie with his Diancie. And then, of course, we have max HP just to better take hits from the Yveltal, from the aforementioned Zekrom. And yeah, pretty straightforward Pokemon here. Next up, we've got the Slowking. EV to live a +1 Bolt Strike from full. Again, assuming no boosting item. Leftover EV is just going to be put into the special defense stat. Better take hits from Primarina. Maybe better take an Earth Power from Ursaluna if that does come. We do have that Shuka-Berry. That will be very handy for taking Earth Powers from Diancie, for taking Earth Powers from Ursaluna. Just a really nice pivot for us all around. So we've got Flamethrower to put pressure onto the Ferrothorn. Sludge Bomb is just our nice stab move. Getting a poison onto any of the Ubers would be very, very nice for us. So I felt like that was a good stab option to have. Trick Room is here specifically for Zekrom. So if I KO something, or if he makes a double in the Zekrom, right, I need to have a way to deny that thing from just running away with the game. Chilly Reception initially is not the correct sequence because it can live a +1 foul play for my Yveltal. So I need to have a way to keep it in check, and that's exactly what Trick Room accomplishes. It basically allows us to reposition to our Diancie or any of our other Pokemon and threaten damage onto the Zekrom so that we don't just lose to a Dragon Dance set. Final move, of course, is going to be Chilly Reception. Just going to allow us to get some momentum, position our attackers, and take advantage of a situation. Next up, we have Giratina. We're rocking the Origin form here. Thought that that would be nice for a handful of reasons. I like the Earth Power immunity for the Ursaluna. And of course, I actually really like the offense that it brings to the table. I do think that if it's an offensive Yveltal on their side, right, they're going to have a difficult time switching into Poltergeist. It's very annoying for them. Dragon Tail, able to force out any Calm Mind Ursalunas that we see. And Shadow Sneak is really useful to pick off a weakened Zekrom, especially if it is Scale Shot, right? If we get any hit on it, say Arceus Earth Power, Yveltal Dark Pulse, if it's already taken Stealth Proc, and if it takes that -1 defense, it should be in range of the Shadow Sneak from Giratina. So we have a nice way to keep that Pokemon in check. Defog is really nice in case Ferrothorn starts going crazy. Let's say I lose my Diancie early and hazards just start going all over the field. We need to keep the field clear for Arceus-Fire. That's one of our main win cons, so Defog is pretty sensible here. And Dragon Tail is just really nice to stop a lot of anti-cheese. It stops Zekrom from aggressively Dragon Dancing. Like I said, the Calm Mind Ursaluna also beats out any kind of like Cosmic Power Arceus. So just a really effective tool in this matchup to not let us get steamrolled by any kind of setup. Eevee's here. Mostly just spec'd for the specially defensive hits, right? Really want to be taking good hits from Diancie, from the Arceus Psychic. Does let us better take hits from Primarina as well in the off chance that we need to make a trade, because I do think it is valuable, depending on the 6 he brings, that we could hit it with a Poltergeist, put it in range of our Arceus later on when we start getting those Calm Minds up. So, and then the last Pokemon we've got here is the Zamazenta. And I'm running an offensive set, and you might think this is a little strange, but I felt like I'd be able to pressure the Arceus Psychic pretty effectively, right? It's underneath a lot of pressure from Sludge Bombs, from Giratina, from Yveltal. We have a lot of ways to put pressure on that Pokemon. And so, realistically, this thing kind of just kills every other Pokemon on his team. So, Life Orb Close Combat, very strong. Gonna Oko, Ursaluna. Does significant damage to Primarina, which, again, just enables our endgame of the Arceus-Fire. Crunch, of course, going to be for the Arceus Psychic, so we have a way to actually hit that thing for meaningful damage. And also, this could be a nice panic check to Zekrom. So say I hit it with something, and it KOs me, or it's boosted up. I can come in, have the Dauntless Shield, get that defense boost. We'll be able to live a boosted hit, and I can just hit it with a close combat. We do have Trailblaze here, so on the off chance he goes to, like, sack off, let's say, the Diancie, or sack off the Ursaluna to this thing. If it's at low enough HP, we can actually capitalize on that by going for a Trailblaze, which would let us outpace the Pheromosa. Which, if it's no bulk Pheromosa and it takes Stealth Rock, we do KO it with the close combat from full, which is pretty nice, right? Heavy Slam is pretty good because it's our strongest hit into a Colbur Berry Spectrier. It also is good consistent damage into the Primarina, and it's obviously an OHKO onto the Diancie, regardless if it decides to Mega or not. So, speed-wise, we are creeping max speed Spectrier, and then, of course, we just have some leftover EVs for our bulk. Otherwise, pretty straightforward set. Life Orb just really helps us achieve certain damage rolls, right? Puts a lot of pressure on a Yveltal, especially if it's not a defensive set. It's not going to appreciate switching into this at all. So that's going to be our team for our pools game, and I will see you guys in the live battle. Peace. Yo, what's going on, guys? Good morning. You've got Glop here. I'm doing a live coverage of the Smogon National Dex Ubers draft. Took over for a team, kind of a shit roster. God, I'm not a morning person. Anyways, this guy's about to challenge me, so I figured I would do some live coverage of a game. I've typically known for doing post-commentary. I just think it would be interesting to get the perspective of a live game, so we've got the matchup here, of course. Prep is pretty basic. I don't know the skill level of my opponent, so I didn't go, like, super in-depth, but I think we're going to be okay. So, let's go ahead and accept this here. Zekrom's going to be the biggest threat, by far. Primarina did come, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work to get Arceus off the ground. Glad I brought Mystical Fire. Was thinking about bringing Spikes, but I realized that if he uses Diancie as a switch into my own, then it's harder to do that. He said, you can play both Giratina forms. Yes. Get fucked, bro. Same for Zama. Just so he knows for future games, I guess. Yeah, you too, buddy. Ah, shit, okay. So, I'm not used to this. The live comms is something new, but I think I'll enjoy it. Zekrom's the biggest threat, right? If it gets like 2 speed boosts, we basically instantly lose. I benched our Zygarde. No Blood Moon, though, which is cool. Poltergeist is really strong into his team. So it basically boils down to a lead of one of Diancie or Slowking. I'm really regretting taking off Diamond Storm because chipping Primarina is going to be difficult, but I think try to get damage on Arceus early. We can do something with Zamazenta. Zamazenta is really good here. And Giratina could bait it. Like, a trade with Giratina to get, like, 70 off on Primarina, definitely worth it. Because Calm Mind Arceus can win. We should be faster than his Arceus, I think. Let's go ahead and lead off with, it's either Arceus or Diancie, is what I'm thinking. Arceus is just nice to cover the Ferrothorn lead, which could be kind of annoying. But I had Defog, right? So I'll just lead Diancie. It guards against Yveltal, and it also is like pretty decent into Zekrom. Worst case is we see a turn 1 Dragon Dance weakness policy set. But that can't get a second speed boost on me, so I don't really care. Primarina is going to be tough. We need rocks up ASAP. Yeah, I'm gonna lead Diancie. Put the timer on. It's gonna be a Primarina lead. All right. Probably just gonna make my switch here in Slowking. Get some information about this guy. I would like to save health on it for the Diancie, but what you gonna do? I would love to turn 1 rocks here. If I don't die to Scald, that might not be horrible, but, like, I don't know this guy at all. So, alright, it's flip turn. Should have just rocks. It's all good, though. Probably gonna go into Yveltal. Probably gonna try to, like, Steel Wing or some dumb shit. But if he makes that play, great play, dude. Like, I have my lines ironed out, so I'm gonna, you know, stick to them. Yeah, really the only thing that threatens me with lethal damage is gonna be that, that Yveltal. If Zekrom comes out, I can Trick Room versus that, so I'm not too worried. I kind of think I would have to do that. Otherwise, I could just lose straight up. It's going to be the Yveltal right on. Go back to Diancie here. See if he makes the play. I should live it. I'm max HP, so it's going to be a knockoff. Fantastic. Let's get up those Stealth Rocks. What does that damage tell me? Let's see if we can check the calc here. Let's go to Diancie. Yveltal. I'm expecting a potentially defensive Yveltal, right? Like, that's going to be the one that's harder to remove, which is why I have the Calm Mind Arceus, because it basically lets us, you know, outpace that guy. 15%. Yeah, it's looking like not attack invested. Attack invested would have done more. So probably defensive. So I like getting our rocks up here. That feels good. It is going to be Steel Wing. Does KO us. Perhaps I should have stayed in regular form. But I don't think that's the end of the world. Definitely unfortunate to lose it that way, but what you going to do? You know, this just screams to me that it's probably Assault Vest Primarina. So the only way it would beat Arceus is with Toxic. Definitely going to be a harder game from here on out, though. We do have to go Arceus. Knockoff, Steel Wing, Roost, Oblivion Wing, Sucker Punch, Calm Minding here. Is only bad into Toxic. If it's AV Primarina, Psychic Noise is basically the fear, right? But I think we boost up too much on that. Like, I want to say at +2, that's just not doing any damage. Let's go with Liquid Voice. I'm at +2. Yeah, it's not really doing a lot of damage. We can actually stall out the turns of negated healing. So, there's that. It would just be Toxic that we're worried about. I think I'm just going to let a Judgment rip first. Let's get some information. Right? 15. What does that tell us? AV as fuck. Yep. I'm most likely expecting a flip turn here. So I think I want to just Calm Mind up. I think I KO'd Diancie at +1. It's a good chance to. Let's go for the Calm Mind. It's going to be a Scald. Okay. Let's recover once. Alright, crits me. A little bit annoying. But if Zekrom comes out, I definitely want damage on that. We've gotten Chip on the Primarina. So Zamazenta is looking really good in this endgame. Damage on Arceus is really what we need to win with the guy, right? And also Yveltal. If Zekrom comes out, I am kind of forced to attack it, though. Right? That'll be interesting. Looks a little rough, but I trust in the team. I feel like he has to go Zekrom, otherwise he's trolling. Regular Diancie, Diamond Storm won't KO, like if he stays in regular form, so there's that. I'm really hoping he just goes Arceus for some reason and just lets me hit that thing, right? That would be ideal as fuck. It is going to be Zekrom and it's going to be Boots. Okay. Gotta hit this with Earth Power. Gonna miss a Bolt Strike. Huge for us. Definitely sorry about that, bro. That matters as fuck. Won't lie. Now we Judgment. That is unfortunate. My bad, bro. Diancie's gonna come out. Like I said, a regular Diancie I do not think KOs us with Diamond Storm. Yeah. You'd have to Mega, which means you get fucking popped by this. So he could stay regular, get up rocks. He could also stay regular and just get off the move. I'm honestly fine with that. Because I mean, I'm in a great position. I shouldn't be fucking around, right? Let's just keep attacking. Earth Power, okay. I'd like to greed and recover, but that's not correct, right? So, clicking Judgment is correct here. Okay, very nice. Yeah, that miss definitely hurt him. I mean, I lived that. Like, I know I lived that. So I would have killed Zekrom, and I would have gotten off 86% on Diancie, which I think is a trade I'm comfortable with. Arceus comes in, we pressure immediately, Judgment. Yep. We got that speed on us. That speed on us. For this exact moment, gonna knock this guy out. Primarina can't handle us because we can just recover up. Might be game over. We're gonna recover now. Yeah. Calm it up. Recover now. Should be Psychic Noise. If he's not, I'm kind of shocked. Yeah, that's a decision of all time there, buddy. We will just be calm mining up, it appears. Alright, and Earth Power twice now. Do I die to Sucker Punch from defensive Yveltal? That's really, because like there's no need to choke this, right? Especially defensive. Or sorry, no Life Orb, right? Sucker Punch. No. And we know he's this based on the damage. So honestly, I'm just going to attack. I don't want to risk a crit. It doesn't make sense. And damaging this thing is really nice. Right? Let's just hit this. No need to fuck around. He's going to go for a knockoff. Okay. I mean, we can recover, right? So. And we're still out of range, right? So that'll be game. Good game to Lizard Do. Sorry about the miss, man. It definitely changed the flow of the game. Let me kind of run away with it. I do think we had the tools to still win regardless, but certainly unfortunate. But that'll be our round 1 in pools, guys. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys for the next battle. Until then, have a good one.